once again, adventurers, let's play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Akiho, Subaru, and Doc Fujita worked together to attach Gumbo 1's left leg via the parts that were custom made by Fujita. And Akiho was glowing at the fact that her dream is finally taking shape and fruition. Yet, as this is said, Subaru really wants to take up Nai's previous offer back at the Jackster office to pretty much scrap the existing outfit and create a robot with far better resources. But when he tried to bring this to Kaito, Subaru was inevitably shot down, as always. Now, in this episode, it's like a sight straight out of Gulliver's Travels. Under the cloudy but blue sky, a bunch of brawny men swarm around Gulliver as he lies down. They appear to be part-timers hired by the president of the Space Candy Company, Mr. Sumio. That isn't a part of Gulliver's Travels, mind you. It'd be terrifying if they were. They don't seem too enthusiastic, but they're more than strong enough to help with this work, so it's not an issue. Yeah, because 3 people, it's going to take a lot more than that in order to assemble the rest of Gunbuild 1. I can't sight of Doc among those brawny men. Akiho visited a bunch of local workshops around the island for help, but in the end only Doc showed up. Seeing how he came all the way out here, he must have taken a liking to her. That's a bit of a stretch. Oh wait, he's talking about Juna, not Akiho. Maybe that strictness of his is just a form of tough love. As for Michi, the guy he's at loggerheads with, well, he's holding down the fort in school. Well, he's still a teacher. So he's got that. Mr. Sumio is as jovial as ever. On the condition that Juna presents her new Carter in the future, he bought 2 cranes. Once again, we're going to have to make good on this bargain here, Juna. Today's assembly work is attaching the robot's upper body and lower body. After that, we go straight into the big event, making it stand. Really wanted to say main event there. But oh well. Akiho told all members to be here, but I've only been watching from a distance, playing KB the whole time. Today is heavy duty work, so there's nothing for an amateur like me to do. Not that I ever help anyway, no you do not. That said, I take a look at the robot in between kill ballad matches, and even I find myself kind of moved.
まさかこうしてあのロボが車庫から出される日が来るなんて想像してなかったな。
And yet, as we stand here outside the garage, it is nearing completion at long last.
そんな
Juno is still as nervous as ever especially so since her grandfather is nearby. The first time I visited this hangar was a month before entering high school. Akiho was eager to get on top of the matter, saying she wanted to greet her upperclassmen before starting school. At the time, the robot was already split into upper and lower body chunks. Both halves were laying in the hangar. Those very same halves are now sitting outside on the wide airport apron. They've finally been brought together. They put down rails, and the robot was set on big pedestals via the cranes. The halves are kept level while they work. After bringing them together, Akiho starts putting the connector bolts into the waist section. I'm betting Doc's leading the charge. Without the old man here, there's no way this would go so smoothly. Indeed, you would get your money's worth and then some, Kaito.
あのボルトだけで、上半身を、固定してるのかな。
I should certainly hope so. After all, they did come from Doc's robot clinic.
立たせたらぽっきり折れちゃいそうだけど。
Maybe that's probably due to Gunbuild 1's kind of roughshod design, but anyway.
別に絶対折れるって言ってるわけじゃなくて、なんていうか、私の勝手な感想っていうか。
あれさ、上半身はかなり軽いらしいよ。コックピットは空洞だし、側が単なる飾りだってアキちゃんが言ってたし。
飾り。
Yeah, so in other words, it's not real armor. Even the arms are just templates bent into shape, so they're hollow inside, just for show. No servo motors either, so it can't grapple or anything. They wanted to use aluminium to make it even lighter, but tin plate is cheaper, so they went with that. Once again, scrounging on a very tight budget there. In other words, the upper body is basically a papier-mâché model. Essentially, although it would be if we actually allowed Nye and JAXA to actually construct a should I say a proper robot? I mean, this is a proper robot in and of itself, but I digress. While the upper body has the engine, fuel tank, generator, and batteries, all the weight is in its waist.
重心がかなり低いからバランスは安定してるって豪語してた。
Boasting sounds like the right word for it. If Subaru were here, he'd probably explain it in painfully minute detail. He's playing hooky today because there are too many outsiders around. Yeah, he definitely doesn't want his father, Well, then again, well, he would kind of have an out on this one as well, because he's not working on a small puppy robot, he's working on a giant one.
ちなみに純ちゃんさ、あれ乗る？
Yes, we now return to the elephant in the room. Mr. Sumio's big condition for his sponsorship is, yeah, wanting you to pilot Gunbuild 1 there, Juno. And about as expected a response as could be expected. She shakes her head back and forth, tears seemingly forming in her eyes.
でもスポンサーの意向があるわけじゃん。
That he is, to a fault. Mr. Sumio has a huge body, so it's easy to spot him quickly, even at this distance. He's talking to Akiho while she works. He's holding what looks like a tapestry or poster with the Space Candy Company logo on it. Ah, that's the other caveat. We have to do advertising for him since he's sponsoring us. Something that Akiho really didn't want to do, but it is the price of sponsorship, I suppose.
ステッカーか。
He's probably insisting that on sticking it somewhere on the robot's body. I mean, as our sponsor, that's totally his right. As for whether Akiho will agree to it, well, who knows?
無理だよ。私怖いもん。
Yeah, this is gonna be a problem for us. She actually started crying. Kind of amazed she was able to do karate with such frail mental strength. Well, she was only doing kata, which isn't so much karate in that sense. Not that I don't understand how she's feeling. I certainly don't want to ride in that thing. I'm not that confident about a robot Akiho made. But this is going to be a problem. If Juna can't pilot it, I'm next in line. That said, I'm not going down without a fight. But then who could Akiho get next? Actually, Frau might be a good fit. I think she'd have the same sentiments as yourself and Juna there. If we can just force her into the cockpit, she'll naturally shut herself inside afterward. Even if it fell over or caught fire, I doubt Frau would even think to escape. I wouldn't be so sure about that. As a last resort, we could always stuff Michi inside of it. As tempting as that offer is, yeah, that is a tragically a no-die situation, unfortunately. Our delinquent teacher was the founding president of the club after all. Well, technically he didn't found the club. That was Misaki, the one who pretty much helped build most of the original robot. I heard that when Mizune proposed the gun build project, Michi gave it the go sign as president. Thus, Michi has the right to be the first to pilot the completed robot. Actually, it's his duty.
よし、その手で行こう。悪くないプランだ。
I'm not too sure about that.
純ちゃん、もう心配いらないよ。君はあれに乗らなくていい。
本当？
ああ、俺に任せといてよ。
ヤシオくん、ありがとう。ごめんね、足引っ張って。
気にしなくていいよ。俺が代わりに乗るわけじゃないし。
I feel like Akiho's been bowing her head a whole bunch to the part-timers over there. I inch closer to the robot and try to listen in.
姉ちゃん、ちゃんと指示してくれよ。
すみません。
で、配線はこっちでいいわけ？
マニュアルを取ってこないと。
Yeah, this is going about as well as it could be
じゃあ
expected.
早く取ってきてくれ。
はい、ちょっと待っててください。
ああ、もうクレーンの準備はしてもいいのか？
はい、お願いします。
あのさ、ボルト残り1個どこ？
あれ、どこ行ったかな。
組み立てまだ終わってないのか？クレーン本当に出していいのかよ？
ちょっと待ってください。
それより部長さんな、ステッカーを貼る位置だが、やっぱりこう胸のど真ん中の黄色いところにドーンとだな。
いやいや、ダメですってば。
Yeah, she's refusing. Wow, what a mess. Yeah, as expected.
手伝った方がいいんじゃ。
だね。
Maybe we should.
とはいえ、俺たちこのロボのこと何にも知らないんだけど。
Heck, even Akiho kept us in the dark about today. If we stepped foot into that chaos and asked to be taught about stuff, things would just get more savage.
よし、俺ちょっと買い物行ってくるわ。
ヤシオくん、逃げるの？
Pretty much.
純ちゃんも
he
一緒に
is.
来てよ。
でも、アキホちゃん一人だけ残すなんて。
いいからいいから。荷物持ちで必要だから。
荷物持ち？
Yeah. Kaito Yashio, true gentleman you are. I ignored Juna's confused look of guilt and start walking on. With our shopping at the convenience store finished, we returned to the hangar after about 30 minutes. Even now the workers seem irritated.
ほら、純ちゃん。大会で型を披露するときみたいに大声で、しかも可愛く。
I think I see where you're going with this, Kaito. Then again, it's only going to endear Sumio to Juna even more, which is going to be an issue, I feel.
でも、
Just call it a hunch.
こういうのは女子が言った方がいいんだって。東京の電車だってアナウンスは女の人の声だったんだから。ほら、声張って。
The problem lies in the fact that Mr. Sumio is only interested in things that have his idea of impact. And, well, he seems to have Juna in mind with this. The reality is that Juna doesn't really have any sort of impact in question. I give Juna an encouraging pat on the back. Her little body staggers a little, but she immediately straightens up.
作業中の皆さん、お菓子とお飲み物の差し入れです。
While Juna shouts, I lay out a host of snacks and drinks on the table. Actually, it seems that Kaito is on the ball on this one. Those part-timers do need to eat in order to keep up their strength. This all costs just under 3,000 yen. Painful for a high schooler's wallet, but it's worth it to keep them from being too mad at Akiho. I'll bill Mr. Sumio for it later. Yeah, actually, to someone like him, 3,000 yen is probably chump change.
どうぞ休憩してください。
savage atmosphere surrounding the robot suddenly dissipates thanks to Juno's announcement. Of course, this is a temporary measure there, Kaito. They're still going to have to continue working on it. And eventually finish it. The workers immediately stop what they're doing and gather around the table. Juno starts handing soft drinks to everyone. The stiff smile on her face is kind of charming in its own way. I take the chance to head over to where Akiho is.
アキちゃん、無事かい？
あ、かい。
So not so good then.
おや、これはどこ？
Looks like he was in the middle of a lecture.
おう、付き添いか。
Doc only ever calls me her escort, obviously. Not that I really want him calling me by my name anyway.
ロボ部の段取りが悪すぎる。
Well, that's the fact that she's never had to give anyone but Kaito orders. If it's not clear, when he said Robotics Club, he was referring to Akiho specifically. In fact, I think he's called every Robotics Club president that.
付き添いも遠くでぼーっと見てねえで手伝ってやらねえか。
おっしゃる通りで。というわけでアキちゃん、バイトの皆さんが休憩してる間に段取り決めちゃおうよ。
うん、ごめん、容量悪くて。
It's not, it isn't actually your fault when it comes to this. I mean, yeah, it would be helpful if you gave better directions, but, you know, even though you've been waiting for this for a long time, even you probably never realized that this day would come. I try asking Akiho about what work remains. Apparently the waste bolt's connection is complete. It's one down. The batteries, radiator, and the like are loaded in. The cockpit switches and wiring are the biggest problems of all. Biggest problems left. Oh, and the sticker for the Space Candy Company. We also got to wrap the robot in crane wires to stand it up.
ステッカーなんて住吉の好きに貼らせちゃいなよ。
そうはいかないよ。胸のど真ん中に堂々と貼られたらかっこ悪いもん。
Only to Sumio, Akiho. Only to Sumio.
だったら貼る場所をこっちから指定しちゃった方が早いな。それは俺がやるよ。後で文句言わないこと。
Yeah, by that I meant only Sumio would find it cool.
わかった。
あとは
Akiho thinks a little.
あ、そうだ、マフラー。
Right.
マフラー？ああ、純ちゃんが作ってたやつ？
Gun barrel's iconic long scarf. It's in the hangar, ready to go.
立たせる前にあれを首に巻いておかなきゃ。
それは純ちゃんにやらせてあげよう。
Just like this, we check the remaining steps, one by one. How to take care of those pesky technical details. But, once again, progress is being made.
そのまま上げろ。ゆっくりゆっくりな。
Most of the work is now complete. Huzzah. With the finishing touch, the two cranes raise the robot and begin the process of standing it up. At this point, there's nothing me, Juno, or even Akiho can do. We just have to hold our collective breaths while watching over it to see if it stands up safely. Akiho looks at the robot with unease. Her shoulders seem super stiff, so I grab onto them as hard as I can.
いただだだ何すんのかい。
そんなに力んでたら疲れちゃうよ。
わかってるよ。
Wires are hooked up to the waist and legs. The two cranes are skillfully attempting to stand it up. Seems tough. They're working really carefully, but I have to. Anyone would get nervous watching this, not just Akiho. If Subaru were here, he'd be a sweating nervous train wreck. Of course, now that Akiho can actually see Gun Build 1 for itself and not just in its disassembled parts, she's probably finally going to notice the details that Subaru noticed a long time ago.
ついに完成したんですか。
And out of the blue, Tanoji once again. Tanoji-san strolls by, a smile on her face. Yeah, with all these people moving about, it would have been impossible for her not to know about this.
こんなタイミングに立ち会えるなんて感激です。見学させてもらってもいいですよね。どうぞどうぞ。
Slowly. The robot starts to straighten out. Finally, in an upright position, it's carefully lowered to the ground. The bottoms of its feet are firmly planted on the ground. Says the guy who is completely uninterested in robots.
大きい。ガンツくんは大地に立つ。
There it is. Gun Build 1. In all of its shining glory. And while it may be crude facsimile of the actual Gun Build 1, of the actual gun barrel mech, it's not, well, it's not awful, it's not absolutely terrible, but I do see about Kaito's referring to it as a papier-mâché. I mean, it doesn't even have hands, just two orbs. Yeah. Instead of hands that actually function like hands should. But yeah, as a representation of gun barrel, it's closer to the mark than I was giving it credit for. But it's standing. That's the important thing thus far. The second important thing is that it doesn't topple over onto the ground where we're all standing. Yeah. But pretty much for Akiho, Sumio, this event right here would definitely rival the launches of unmanned rockets into outer space. With Akiho's declaration, there's scattered applause across the airport apron. Well, only me, Tanoji-san, and Mr. Sumio to be exact. Juno is weak-kneed and shrinks back. Is she scared by the robot's size? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say yes.
おお、こりゃインパクトあるの。
Finally, Sumio actually sees impact, real impact for what it is.
し
For
かも
what it's
アキホちゃ
worth.
んよ、見てみ、あの肩に三千と輝くスペース飴のロゴ。
Wow, that sticker, now that it's in comparison to the actual robot, that sticker is far smaller than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be much larger.
ボインちゃんボインちゃん
Yes, you're still here, Taro.
こりゃいい宣伝になるぞ。おお、こうしちゃおられんの。何日新聞に連絡して取材に来てもらわんと。
Something actually tells me that Sumio probably has the clout to make an article in the papers, and that fact scares me a little bit. Mr. Sumio laughs brightly and leaves our circle to go and make a phone call. If only Masaki could see this.
見て見てカイ、ガンツクワンが立ったよ。
Oh, that's step one. But an important step one. Akiho is thrilled. She's wearing a giant smile on her face. Hard to believe this is the same gloomy girl from earlier. Talk about a quick mood change. Well, at this point in time, she has every right to be happy. Granted, I know how passionate Akiho is about robots better than anyone else does, so I get it. But man, this thing is ugly. Yeah, your mileage may vary on that one, Kaito.
こんなに大きかったんだ。実際に立たせると想像よりずっと大きいね。
Yeah, not a very practical robot, especially when compared to Subaru standards, but yeah, it is pretty majestic looking.
足元から見上げたいけど、まだ作業終わってないから、もうちょっと我慢。
Sorry about that. I was, yeah.
足元から見上げたいけど、まだ作業終わってないから、もうちょっと我慢。
Yeah, you'll just have to wait on that one, Akiho. Now that the robot is standing, the workers are removing the wires from it. Once they're done, mission accomplished. That's if nothing happens.
でもとりあえず写真撮っとこう。ほら、カイも撮って撮って。でね、お姉ちゃんに送るの。お姉ちゃんこれ見たらなんて言うかな。
I'm actually sure that despite her current situation, I think that Misaki will betray a very small smile over what has just transpired.
絶対にうちと同じでガンバムのセリフを言うに違いないよ。
She probably would at that.
そうそう、あと医療用にタグをつけておかなきゃ。うちに文才があればな。そしたら読んだ人全員を感動させられるような素敵な紹介文を書けるのに。
普通でいいと思うよ。
普通ね、普通。わかった。
She's so happy she doesn't even care to quibble with Kaito this time.
でも苦節9年か。長かったな。お姉ちゃんが設計図書いてた頃からの付き合いだもんな。
9 years. Now, after about time it's finally been assembled.
そういう意味じゃうちが一番このガンツクワンと付き合いが長いのかも。
Pretty much.
何度もピンチがあったけどそれを一つ一つ乗り越えてついに完成したんだ。うちが部長のうちに完成できて本当に良かった。
Well, getting it standing is one thing. Getting it moving is going to be the real tall task.
良かった。
Akiho's finally moved to tears.
アキちゃん、ハンカチ持ってる？
She doesn't carry one in her work clothes. With little choice, I hand her some pocket tissues.
ありがとう。
ほら部長さん、もっと近くで見てきたら。
Now that the wire removal is complete, the workers have started to pack their things. I look around for Doc, wondering what kind of face he's making, but don't spot him. The only people in high spirits in this huge old airport are Akiho, me, Tanuji-san, and Mr. Sumio. Just us. It's kind of sad. I sigh as I watch Akiho run off the... She then turns to face me.
明日稼働テストやるから雨天順延ね。
Actually, now that now that I think about it, there is one slight snag in our jubilation here, and that concerns the hangar building. Because before, when it was in pieces, it could be stored away. But now that Gunbuild 1 is fully assembled and standing upright, it's, yeah. Akiho, you're gonna need a bigger hangar. Oh right, we still haven't solved that one teeny issue. Who's the pilot? Well, that's the other teeny issue in this instance, Kaito. And Juna has stage fright as usual. Juna is hopeless, seeing how terrified she is by Gunbuilder 1's size. Getting Frau out of her room would be a huge pain in the ass. Which leaves me with Michi. I think that's, I would actually say that that's 3 strikes and you're out, Kaito. I'm not going to tell him just yet. If I told him ahead of time, he'd just try to ditch. That he very well would. But most importantly, progress has been made at last. Thursday. Cancelled due to rain. Well, yeah. That's what you call jinxing yourself there, Akiho. But still, it was a big day and a big moment. And although yeah, hopefully the weather improves so that Gunbuild 1 can actually be piloted and function the way that it's supposed to. With all this gloom, I think I'm going to end the episode here, and when we return, adventurers, we shall see what follows in the wake of Gunbuild 1's completion. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.